Alright guys, this is my first video documenting the build on my new Enduro e-bike or e-moto or whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much a mix between a motocross bike and a mountain bike. Just got these Zoom hydraulic brakes. I don't know how they are, how they'll be with the they'll be able to handle the power of the motor. Also need to order longer wires, longer hydraulic brake cables for this so I can route it more cleanly. Bought these lights. They're meant for a car, but was able to mount them onto the stem using some zip ties. The wires right there. Got these decent forks for a mountain bike. These tires are from a donor bike that I got parts for just so I can put this together, but definitely gonna switch this out for actual 19-inch motorcycle rim. Let's see. Yeah, I got the frame about a week ago and been putting together slowly, but was not able to document the process of putting it together. But it's all pretty simple. I'll probably throw up a picture for you guys so you guys can see what it looked like. It came in that box right there. But so the frame is pretty much, the battery is going here. There's this little piece or bottom piece that you can take off. You can run wires through these two holes right here. These two holes, and then run wires into here and out to the bottom. From the bottom, just mounted this on. There's a swing arm right here. There's this long bolt that goes through the body and the swing arm, and inside there's a brass bushing, and you basically, every part where there's movement along the suspension, you should grease with bike grease or really any type of silicone-based grease. I put grease in here, in here. This shock was from a spare mountain bike that I had, but I'll probably end up upgrading that to a D&M burner. The front forks were probably the hardest thing to put on for this bike, especially like right here. There's these headset cups that you're supposed to press into the frame. Some e-bikes, some enduro frames, they already have the cups pressed, pre-pressed into the frame. I tried calling a bike shop and they said I would have to be, I would be waiting 3 weeks just for them to press it in. So I decided I'm gonna go to Home Depot, and I got a 1/2-inch threaded rod. It was probably about like a foot long, and some washers and bolts, or washers and nuts, and then I tightened both sides together to clamp the cups in, and they press right in. I mean, after like, I don't know, messing with it for like a couple hours, but that was probably the toughest part. All right guys, the motor just came in. This shit is looking fresh. Big ass motor. It is a QS273 with 5T winding. Man, this thing's gonna pull. All right guys, now I'm unboxing the second package that came with the, you can see there's a mess over there, or the motor with the wheel on it. So in this little box, there's the brake sensors, or the brakes, yes, the throttle, and I think the screen's in here. Maybe not, maybe it's in the other box. In here, a 72 volt 150 amp controller from Sabaton. This thing will put out 150 amps peak So if you do all the math out, I think it's like at least 10,000 watts peak power. Let me just unbox this for you guys. Let me see. There she is. Should probably do this with both hands, but it's fine. There it is. All right, last thing in the box. This thing, it's probably the screen, if I'm guessing right. All right, guys. As you can see, I had to remove the rear swing arm in order to get the motor on, because this kit, this frame, it's one of the cheap frames that you can find on eBay, and the dropouts didn't exactly fit. So you can probably see there, I took an angle grinder and I had to grind both sides of the dropouts, maybe just a few extra millimeters wider, just so that these things would slide in. Not too loose, of course, because what's the point of having a loose dropout, right? Yeah, so I grinded those down. You can see the bare metal. Now I'm just working on trying to find a way, as you can see in here. I'm afraid that if the wheel, or if when the disc rotor spins, these bolts will rub up against the wire that's coming from the motor, and I'm afraid that might damage the cable over time. So I'm trying to find maybe a spacer, a few more spacers that I can put in here, so that the wire can come out this way instead of going directly down, pointing straight down and hitting those bolts. So yeah, that's the idea, that's the plan, and I'll let you guys know what happens next. All right, guys, back with another update. So in here I put I think it's a 1/2 inch piece of PVC over the axle in order to create space, so that the wire from the motor would be able to go out this way instead of having to come straight down and come in contact with these bolts from the brake disc. And I put the zip tie in order to keep that wire extra further away from the brake disc bolts. And so right now, this is the stage that we're at. I got the rear swing arm mounted back into the body. To be honest, I think I'm not gonna use that shock that I got from another mountain bike. I'm probably just gonna use or buy a actual air suspension, and I'm probably gonna change out that front shock as well. But yeah, I mean, good progress so far. Everything seems to be fitting together. Put some zip ties onto the wire, onto these eyes that are welded onto the swing arm to keep the wire in place. And yeah, everything looks pretty straight so far. Just waiting on more parts and slowly putting this thing together. with another update. So as you can see, I was able to mount the controller on this frame. So the tough part about it is that the controller barely fits onto the width of the frame. It's a 72 volt 150 amp controller onto this Voila Mart frame. Barely fits onto the width. I drilled holes here, and then 2 more on the other side, and I found these little bolts that I was able to fit just barely on there. And there's a nut on the other side. That. So, got the wires neatened up a little bit. For this cage that's supposed to go into here, I got these like brass strips from like a piece of a door lock, I think. I was able to make strips like that because normally these holes that were in this cage are supposed to fit onto these these mounts right here. But since the controller is too big, I needed to create a gap, a space like that. It's probably about like a centimeter. So in order for the controller to fit and for wires to be able to run from down here all the way through this box and up and out through this hole right here, this hole on top, and down here there was a hole, but as you can see I cut straight through the, let me see if I can get to focus. Oh, there we go. I cut straight through the top in order for the wires to slip in easier, because these wires from the motor wouldn't be able to go through this hole unless I depinned the connectors right here, and I just didn't want to have to go through that. So I just cut this in order for the wires to slip through. Put some electrical tape around the metal, and I also sanded it down so it wasn't as sharp. So yeah, that's the bike update so far. It's looking pretty good. Things are coming together slowly. You can see I got 2 buckets and a stand right there just to hold up the bike while I work on it. Pretty good setup so far. But yeah, I'll let you guys know as soon as I get more stuff done on the bike. Alright guys, just got the front forks on. Things look way better, more sturdy. Look at these struts right here. They look way thicker. Only problem now is that when I try to mount the brakes, the cable doesn't reach all the way down. So I might have to order longer cables or something. But yeah, anyways, the front fork, all you had to do was just install that lower piece on top, not this silver piece. There's another black piece inside. Then another ring with split ring right there and there, then a top cap, top crown, and the top crown, then the spacers, and this, then a few more spacers. That's pretty much it. Alright guys, I know it's been a while since the last update, but this is how the bike's looking so far. I got a temporary 48 volt battery since it's gonna be a while until my 72 volt battery comes in. But so far I got everything wired up. I got the controller on the bottom, got the display mounted, and buttons mounted. I did so I rerouted the brake wires, or the brake cables, so this front brake goes to the left brake handle now instead of the right. And I bought longer brake hose for the right brake handle, and I routed that all the way to the back, but it's just hanging right there. It's not installed yet. But I plugged everything together and just to see if the motor would spin, and it works great. So all I got to do now is tidy everything up, finish connecting everything, and wait. Hopefully the new battery will come in soon, and it'll be done. So in order to swap the brake hydraulic brake cables, it wasn't that bad. It's similar to Avid brakes, so I'll be linking a video in the description of a tutorial on how to bleed Avid brakes. So in case you guys want to extend your brake cable or extend your brake hose and then switch the lines, and then you feel like, oh, it's not the same pressure anymore, then you'll know how to bleed these brakes, because they're pretty much the same as Avid brakes. Really easy, and I recommend these brakes already because I see they're pretty strong, and they're really easy to maintain. So yeah. Alright guys, the moment you've been waiting for. The bike is finally done. Shit. This shit took forever, but finally done. For the bike stand, I got this bike stand off Amazon. It's like this type where it folds to one side, but then you fold it down, it splits into like 2 legs. I don't know, that's pretty dope. And it's super heavy duty. You can adjust the height on this side. Like there's 6 holes. I don't know, maybe you guys can see it. I'm gonna go on the other side. Yeah, there's bolts. There's some holes in this plastic that you can adjust. The bike stands up okay. It's not super stable, but it's good enough. Anyways, I had to drill out this the threads in this piece right here in order for this bolt to go straight down, and then use the threads in here to clamp against this piece. So yeah, that's one thing I had to do to this frame again. But got everything on, the display's on. All the wires are tucked neatly together, well, as neat as I could. I got everything wired up. I got the light switch and the horn button. You can see the horn is mounted right there at the top. I got this DC to DC converter, converts 72 volts to 12 volts to power the light and the horn. As you can see when you turn on the light, super bright lights. Oh man, you guys can probably barely see that, but yeah, these lights are super bright. Really set off this e-bike. Probably look better at night though. So far, with the 48 volt battery, testing it out, I've gotten, it can only get a top speed of 18 miles an hour on power level 5, but the torque is still scary like fast. It's scary the amount of torque this thing puts down, even though it's only reads about like 150 watts and 18 miles an hour. Anyways, yeah, it's been a good project so far. Just waiting on the 72 volt battery, but other than that, it's a really good bike. And if you guys want to know anything more, just please leave a comment down below, and I will try to get to your questions and comments. And if anything, I'll make another video explaining more in depth about any other part that I put into this.